Welcome to the Redeemer Network podcast, where we talk church planning, church health, and multiplying churches for the sake of the gospel. To learn more about the Redeemer Network, visit redeemernetwork.org. Welcome back to the Redeemer Network podcast. Today, we're putting a bow on our third season. This season, we've spent time talking through what we do as a network as we work to advance the gospel by multiplying healthy churches. We've worked through each of our three priorities as a network: training, funding, and support. And today, this episode is titled, What's Next? I'm joined by two awesome members of our network staff, Sarah Kiracon and Brandon Barker. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Really glad to have you with us. Brandon serves as the executive director of the network. If you don't know Brandon, most of you do. And Sarah is our comms strategist all-star. What's her real title?
Communication manager.
Communication manager. And she's such a joy. And so we're so glad to have her on. So I was thinking about a fun kickoff question here. I took my kids back to school shopping this week, and I've got an incoming freshman, a seventh grader, and a fourth grader. And so they all were, they've all been kind of looking through the new clothes they got, and they're trying to figure out what is their first day of school fit going to be. What's their best outfit? And so I was just thinking about that, curious for you, if you could go back in time, what was the all-time best first day of school outfit that you ever had? Can you remember one?
I can. Sarah, do you want me to go first on this one?
Yeah, you go.
So my best back to school outfit was a beautiful cast I wore on my right hand. Because at the peak of Jordan's dominance, I wanted a pair of Jordans, and my mom wouldn't buy them for me.
Michael Jordan. Not me. You.
No,
Michael Jordan. Yeah, okay.
Michael Jordan. And as a bratty 12-year-old, when my mom said no, I punched a hole in the wall, and I hit the stud and broke my hand. So I went back to school with a nice cast. That was my outfit.
Wow. What kind of shoes?
Jordans.
Okay.
No. That's what I wanted.
Yeah,
she wouldn't get them for. I have no idea what I wore. I have no clue.
Man, that's awesome. Wow.
I
Sarah, can you top that?
Interesting that boys like punch holes in the wall. That's just not something as a girl I would ever think to be like, I'm mad. Let me go. And I feel like you guys are stud finders in those moments. Mine, you could probably find my outfit right now currently at Hollister because it's coming back in. Multi-layered tanks, like a white tank underneath a blue tank with the Hollister logo. That would be for me. Like it was like peak. Like I've made it. I think I worked all summer and saved up to purchase it.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah. Well, I've got a similar story to yours, except I wasn't a child. I was a grown man, and I got frustrated and I kicked something. I didn't punch something. I kicked something and I broke my toe. So yeah, we'll learn from those.
What was your outfit?
Probably had something to do with Michael Jordan as well.
Yeah.
90s. My name is Jordan. I always wanted Jordan shoes, and I had kind of a head to toe black and red Michael Jordan fit.
I had some
probably fifth grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had some bold jerseys that I loved.
Yeah. And it's all the Hollister's back, and the Air Jordan stuff is still around. So
yeah. I need pictures of y'all in high school. I need some like outfit pics.
This will not happen, Sarah. We love you. I don't trust you. I'm not doing it.
And you know what? You shouldn't. I do have a folder saved on my laptop of embarrassing photos that spouses have sent me of my pastors. So
yes,
stay out of that folder. All right. Well, as the kids go back to school and start a new year, we're bringing this podcast to an end. And so I wanted just to reflect a little bit on the episodes that we've put out this season. I've really enjoyed this episode of the podcast. It's probably been one of my favorites so far. And I know both of you are very close to the work that we're doing in the network, but I'm just curious, did you learn anything new, or is there anything in particular that has stood out to you from our previous episodes?
Yeah, I would say like I kind of already knew broadly like what the network does, but listening back to all the episodes, I think just reminded me that there are real people behind like every one of those stories. I think just getting to hear every single member of our staff like reference specific situations was just really a reminder to me that it's all these individual stories that make up this network that isn't ethereal. It's actually like very embodied and very real, very personal. And so I was just super encouraged by those stories. And it gave me a lot of things like, I want to hear more. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I learned anything new necessarily about the work that we're doing. It was a good chance to sort of step back and see the forest and not just look at the trees along the way. And that's been really enjoyable. I do love the reminder that there's people behind all of the work that we do. Reminder of how much I love what we do, how much I love the people that we get to do it with. There were some episodes that really stood out to me as ones that I enjoyed. One of them was the church planting residency that we train church planters. I loved the content of that one, but also, man, if it's you, Reed Monahan, Peyton Behrens, I can listen to y'all talk about badminton. Like, it's just, I just love it. The one on support, I really enjoyed. One of the things I enjoyed most about that one is how often you would ask a question to Jeremy or to Buck. I'm sorry, Jeremy or Kyle. And their answer was something like, we just call people, we just show up. That it wasn't a grand strategy for care, for the coaching, the support we provide. It was people caring for people. I loved that reminder. And I really enjoyed the one on supporting worship leaders, the one that, as of our recording today, that came out today. Sarah, I don't know how you felt about that one, but I don't know. I loved it. I loved the reminder of the kind of coaching we're trying to provide worship leaders, not just lead planters. The way that we're trying to write songs is collaborative songwriting, songs written by our churches and for our churches. That we're not trying to start some music label, but I do hope one day that we're able to have a conference where our conference, all of the songs are songs written by Redeemer churches for Redeemer churches, sung together at our conference. Anyway, those episodes stood out to me.
Yeah, it was fun for me too. A lot of the same things, just seeing the breadth of the work that is happening through the network, and then just getting to spend time and talking about the work with the people who are really doing it. All of those people are doing such a great job, and it was fun to actually have them in or have them on the podcast to hear more of their heart and let them tell the story of what God's doing. So really enjoyed it. Well, we've got our conference coming up. I think that's kind of the next thing for us.
It is.
If we're talking about what's next, is our conference is coming up in October. Let's talk about that. Brandon, share a little bit of the why behind the conference.
Yeah. So this will be our 4th annual Redeemer Network conference. Could not be more excited about it. Excited that's in Austin. But the first thing to know about our conference is that it is not a conference for our pastors. It's a conference for our churches. It is aimed at being a connecting point for churches in Redeemer Network, where we bring people together. We can equip them for faithful and fruitful ministry. We want it to be one of the tools in our tool belt for making the Redeemer Network relationship a meaningful relationship beyond just pastors to staff, to elders, to leaders, to community group leaders, to members. We want to build some, if I can say it this way, kind of relational value for Redeemer Network that gets deep into our churches. And so that's one of our hopes with the conference. And one of the reasons why our breakouts, which I know Sarah's going to talk about in a second, are really aimed at members, not just aimed at pastors. But we also want to identify future church planters. We want this conference to be a rallying point where guys who are interested in planting churches can come together, be there, and we can identify them, to steal Dusty's language of smoking them out. We want a chance to smoke out future church planters. We also want to identify potential partner churches. So if there's a church out there that is a good fit for joining Redeemer Network, that door is a door that's cracked open for churches. It's not a wide open door for anybody to walk through, but it is a door that's unlocked, if I could say it that way. And we want this to be a chance to meet them, to connect in person, and to start the conversation around maybe they're a good fit for us and for our network. But then also fourth, to identify churches that are maybe in need of greater degrees of health. That would be a good fit for our church renewal residency, where we walk alongside existing churches who are in need of some coaching and support. And so we can identify them there as well.
Yeah, it's a big part of our ministry every year, this conference is, and it's a free event. Our friends at the Austin Stone in Round Rock, their North Campus, are going to be hosting us, and really excited about it. I love that. Yeah, it's not just a pastor's conference, although there will be plenty for pastors, and it's one of my favorite things is to get to connect with not only other pastors in our network, but other pastors from the area that come and join us. But it really is geared toward our teams. Rick Bowers, who's on our staff here at Redeemer Round Rock, was doing a gospel community leader training this Sunday, and he was giving the conference dates to all of our GC leaders and encouraging them to come. And And he was talking about that, about how the biggest benefit of that conference is that everyday leaders, lay leaders in the church can come, and there will be a breakout. There will be something for them, both from the main sessions and from the breakouts.
Everybody who shows up is going to be able to leave equipped in
Mhm.
some area for life and ministry.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So let's talk a little more in detail, Sarah. What's the theme? Talk to us about any special initiatives, or on your end, as you've been working on the conference. What can you share with us?
Yeah, well, I would just echo that I think, I've had the gift of being part of the conference from the beginning and from that first gathering here in Lubbock, which now that I think about it, I think I just got looped in because Kristen was here and so she was like, "Hey, would you help me?" And I was like, "Yes, let's go." But I think it's just felt like a family reunion. And so I think that, I remember as we were debriefing that first conference, um, I didn't know anyone really in the network. I knew that we did, I knew that Redeemer Lubbock was a part of this network. But it was so cool to look up and to see all these people. Like, nobody was showing up and putting on airs. It was just people who were genuinely excited to be together. And I think that over the years, that really has expanded now, specifically through the conference, to include more than just pastors, but to include our whole teams and church members. And I just think that is so cool, because even the other day I was on a call with Doxa in Tucson, and it was so fun to be like, "Hey, we'll see you in Austin." That we're excited to get to be there together. But then also, like, I was thinking about friends that have like moved and are no longer on staff at Redeemer Lubbock Church or Redeemer Network churches, and thinking to myself, like, I'm so sad I'm not going to see them this year, because the conference has been this thing that we're getting to get together and encourage one another, and just, be with your friends. And it feels kind of like summer camp. But this year, our theme, uniquely, is mission matters. That's really what we're keying in on. This year we've really been working on our mission statement and really clarifying, like why does the Redeemer Network exist? What does it mean to be a part of it? Why should you be a part of it? What are we contributing to together? And so our mission statement, is to advance the gospel through multiplying healthy churches. And you're going to see that just woven through the entire conference, that this isn't a new direction. This is what we have always been doing, but we want to clarify it, and we want to make it sticky for every single person. So for every member, for every staff team, for every potential planter, we want them to understand what it is uniquely that we think God has called us to do, what role we believe he's calling us to play. And so we're going to be talking about just what it means to be healthy churches, healthy leaders, healthy followers of Christ. And then what that looks like for healthy disciples to multiply healthy disciples, and healthy churches to multiply healthy churches. And so my hope really is that people leave not only understanding the mission of the Redeemer Network, but really recognizing their own place in it, wherever they are. Uniquely this year, I think with breakouts, I think you can really expect really practical breakouts. That's something I have loved with the breakouts every year, is that, like I said, this isn't like, we have some of the best leaders. I believe that. Like, we have some of the people that I'm just like, I want to sit at your feet and I want to learn how you have loved your local church and how you've, worked this out and how you've grown in it. But I think that I love just the humility of so many of our leaders that are saying, we are across the network in so many different contexts, from small towns to college towns to big cities. So we're not coming with this like, "Hey, this is how to do ministry," but really getting to share, "Hey, here's what I've tried. Here's what's worked. Here's what didn't. And hey, I want to help you to think about what this could look like in your context." So that'll be everything from women's ministry to worship to communications to groups to leading an elder team. And so I think that that's just going to be really great. And uniquely this year, I'm really excited that we actually, I think, have some members from Round Rock, like lay members, not in vocational ministry, who are going to be leading breakouts. And I just think that's so exciting, because it is just this reminder that, like, as a staff member, like, I can learn from the ministry of like deacons and what they're doing in the church, even if they're never paid. It's meaningful ministry, and it is like how the mission of God advances.
Yeah, so good. Well, I would love to hear from you guys. I mean, not only is the conference a great time for us to be together and get some practical equipping, but I hope that God ministers to us.
Mhm.
Like, I'm praying that as we get together, the Lord moves in our midst as well. We don't just walk away with some connections and some tools, but with a real sense of renewal, spiritual renewal. And so I'm curious for you guys, as you think, as you pray about the conference, which is coming quickly, what do you want to see God do? What's the spiritual work that you're hungry for?
Yeah. Sarah, you kick us off on this one.
Yeah, I would say ultimately, like, I want to see more people in more places come to know Jesus. And like, there's a line from Zach Eswine that I love, where he was just describing like a church member's living room, and he described it as like unknown to the world, but cherished by God, like cherished by him. And I think that when I think about the network and even the conference, I just think about the fact that there are people like that in every community represented at our conference who are
Mhm.
right now unknown to us. They're unknown to the world. They're maybe not even significant or important to the world, but like they're fully known and cherished by God. And
Yeah.
I think I just want us to leave with greater faith, like for those
Mhm.
people, and greater affection for like the particular places that God has entrusted to us. Because I would say like that's my personal whys. Like I have friends that I have known and prayed for there to be like over the last decade churches in their city. And like I've prayed for healthy, Christ-centered, gospel-centered, Bible teaching churches. Not because I care about expanding an organization, but because I want Christ for them. I want Christ for their kids.
Yeah.
And, just have watched them struggle to find a church, struggle to be in a church. And I think, who in my community, who in my neighborhood, who lives around the corner from me has someone praying for them like that, like
Mhm.
who around me is just like loved by God and doesn't know it yet. And I think that that's like,
Mm.
when I think about the conference, I just want everyone to walk away with just a deep, like in their bones, just God, you care about those people. You've cared about me and you cherish them. And what a privilege that like you're inviting us. And because we're in church planting, like, and in the work of church, like we get to be a part of your mission.
Yep.
And just, I want them to just be really encouraged and expectant and just ready to pay attention to what God's already doing.
Yeah.
So good. Sarah, I want to follow up on just what you're saying there before I get to in Acts 18. The Lord said to Paul one night in a vision, "Do not be afraid, but go on speaking and do not be silent, for I am with you, and no one will attack you to harm you, for I have many in this city who are my people." And he stayed there a year and 6 months, teaching the word of God among them. Um, this has been a banner verse for church planting, for my own heart, for my life, because there are men, women, and children in town after town and city after city who belong to God and just don't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we plant churches so they can find out.
Mm-hmm.
So we can take that gospel and that gospel reach more men, women, and children, encountering Jesus, encountering grace, encountering the mercy of God. One of the things I'm really excited and hungry about at this conference is that we're going to build in space to pray for it. So in each one of our sessions, it's not just going to be teaching and worship. We're going to build in time to pray. We want to see the gospel advance, multiplying healthy churches. But that's a work that we can't just do. We can labor for it, but it's work that God has to do.
Yeah.
And so we're going to build time to pray, and mixed into that prayer is going to be prayer for people who are struggling and hurting, those who show up feeling like I'm alone in this world, and we want them to know they're not. And we're going to gather around and pray for them. We're going to have a prayer wall. Is that right, Sarah?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. We're going to have a place for people to write out prayers for our churches, for friends, family members who don't know the Lord yet, that they want to know the Lord. We're going to take time to cry out and beg God for it, for both multiplication and for health, for sustained health. I want people to leave there knowing that giving my life away for the mission of God is worth it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely worth it. And then there's something else that I really hope happens, and I hope I hope our heart is not misunderstood on this part. But we're going to launch a campaign called Multiply the Mission. We're going to ask people to partner with and join in and dive in and support the work of Redeemer Network. And in particular, we're really trying to grow our what we call monthly multipliers, those people who support Redeemer Network on a monthly basis. And here's what we're doing. We are not trying to raise money to pay bills and keep lights on. 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago or so, I was one neighborhood over where I walk and run, because my neighborhood, it's a pop-up new build and there's no trees and there's no shade. So I go to that neighborhood to walk, and I was walking around just praying, and in particular praying gratitude for last year and how the year went. And I really felt like I heard the Lord, and I'm not trying to be charismatic in that. I just felt this impression from the Lord to get ready for what's to come. What followed that was our largest residency class that we've ever had. 9 church planting residents, probably like 5 churches out of that class coming. And then fast forward to today, we're recording this in early August. Normally at this time of the year, we have 1 or 2 conversations going on about future church planting residents. there's 7 active conversations going on for next year.
Yep.
I know we're supposed to talk about that later, but we need people bought into the mission of God in this particular way so we can continue funding the kinds of church plants at the rates that we want to fund the numbers of church plants that are coming.
Yeah.
And so we're going to launch that. We also know, just pastorally speaking, that there's this direct line from our money to our heart and our heart to our money, where what we spend our money on both reflects our heart and our values, but it also directs them. And so when we put money into multiplying healthy churches, it draws our heart more deeply into the value of seeing the gospel go out through the multiplication of healthy churches. And so we'll be launching the Multiplied Mission campaign, and I want people bought into that for that reason.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I'm ready for October for many reasons. One, that hopefully the Dallas Cowboys will be undefeated.
They won't be.
The weather will cool off, and the Redeemer Network conference. I can't wait. It's going to be great. I trust that the Lord is going before in all the preparations, and I hope folks will come, and that they will, not just our pastors and staffs, but even people from our churches, lay people from our churches will be there. It's just such a sweet time to be together, worship together, and to renew our commitment to our mission, which is the mission of God. And so,
Which actually, I
about
do think, last I talked to Kristen, who's in charge of all of our events, I think that lay members actually right now represent like the greatest majority number of like,
Let's go.
lead pastors versus planters versus comms people or worship.
Yeah.
So members, they be showing
Perfect.
up in the Austin area.
All right, let's go. That's right.
So a couple of things on that. One, you're right. That's still the metric. That is still what is leading on the registration. Two, our current registration today is about 3 to 4 times higher than it normally would be at this point, which is encouraging. But also, we need to pause and back up. And we can't talk about our conference without talking about Kristen Barron and the work that she does serving our network. She both blends a role of executive assistant and director of events and just knocks it out of the park every single time. And this conference is proving to be no exception. And so we are deeply, deeply thankful for the work that Kristen does.
Yes, and amen.
Amen.
Okay, well, let's keep moving. Both of you guys have really important roles in our network. Brandon, you lead our day-to-day ministry. You lead our network staff. You are in frequent communication with our pastors and church planners. And Sarah, your job is to share our story. I'm so thankful for you. When you first stepped into this role, remember the first thing that you did is you just said, I want to learn everybody's story, not just the network story, but I want to learn as much as I can about the people that lead this thing, the churches that are in it. And you just took that posture, and you've done such a great job leading our communication strategy and helping us share our story. Those are both really important roles for us. And I'm just curious for you guys, kind of where we sit today. What's got you excited right now? Is there something that you're currently working on, or something that you're seeing in our network that's got you fired up?
Yeah. So Sarah, when you talk about the Redeemer Network, I tear up almost every time. Even a few minutes ago when I said, Sarah, you kick us off, it was because you had just riffed on the network, and I couldn't jump in right away. And it's not just the emotion and the way you talk about, but you're also so good at helping us clarify and hone in and zero in on how we articulate and communicate the work that we're doing, the work our churches are doing. And so deeply grateful for you. But there's a few things that I would say that I'm to this question. One is I love where we are as a network. We are focused. We're not chasing shiny objects. We know who we are. We know who we're not. I'm excited about doing more of the work that we're doing, not doing new and different work, but just doing more of the work that we're doing. And the things that I'm uniquely grateful for right now, one of them is that in the last few months, we've had 2 churches go through significant crisis. Both those churches are coming through the crisis, and they're going to be healthier tomorrow than they've ever been. But also watching our support team step in, give guidance, coaching, care, and to do it up close and personal. They just knocked it out of the park, and I could not be more proud of the work that they've done in really difficult seasons and stretches serving our churches.
Yep. Yeah, it's been real care.
It has been.
It's been real care. Yeah.
It has been.
Yep.
I love our network staff. I am so thankful for the team that we have. Top to bottom, we have the right people in the right seats to most effectively serve our churches and our residents. Everyone who's ever led a team knows how rare it is to look up and say, we have the team that we want. And when I look at our team, without flattery to anybody, we have the team from my seat that we want. I love this team. I do not take for granted the level of competency and care and passion that our team has, and incredibly thankful for each one of them.
Nobody's on the trading block?
Nobody's on the trading block.
Good.
Nobody's on the trading block.
Good.
Not that I'm aware of.
You're out of salary cap anyway, so I'm glad you like your team.
Yeah. And then our conference in Austin. This is one I'm really excited about. It's actually, I think, a big deal for us. Probably a bigger deal on the inside than most people feel or realize, but we have historically been known as more West Texas to rural small town. And the reason for that is that we started in Lubbock and we naturally planted in smaller towns around as we kind of made our way over there. And I love our West Texas roots. I truly am proud I think in the most Christ-honoring way about our love for rural church planting and rural ministry. But I do not want us to be known for a geography. I don't want us to be known as the urban church planting network or the suburban or the rural. I want us to be known as the people who are passionate about multiplying healthy churches. And where our churches plant, we plant. Mm-hmm. And when that's city, that's city. When that's town, it's town. When it's suburb, it's suburb. And so we have one of the fruits of that is that we have 7 churches actively who have been planted in the greater Austin area. And our 8th is going to be planted and launching 1 month from right now at the time of this recording. And then we have plethora of churches who are suburban, who are in rural communities all over. And I want us to love all of them and just to value not a particular geography, but healthy church multiplication.
Good. Yeah, I think it's also safe to say that West Texans probably like coming to Austin more than us, the 8 churches that are in the Austin area like going to West Texas.
Probably so. Although I do kind of want to pitch to y'all. Maybe,
except for Lubbock. I love Lubbock.
Well, maybe Lubbock next year for the conference again. Just I haven't pitched that yet. I haven't asked permission yet, but I'm just going to leak it now. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'll stick around for a Tech football game. Yeah, Sarah, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that really, and it's going to sound odd, but kind of to what Brandon was saying, I think what has really fired me up, to use that language, is actually seeing our churches carry the weight of ministry together. I'm on staff at a local church in the Redeemer Network, and I love that. I never want to be apart from, being embodied in this place. But I just think over, some of those hard situations that have happened this last year, it's been so cool to me to see that. I think what really started, even in terms of the network story, is it was a network of lead pastors, but in a lot of those situations, yes, the network was stepping in to care, to do so well in terms of supporting those churches, but also laterally, I'm on the phone with their comms people. And I just think about in the moment when you wear so many hats as a staff member, as a church member, as just a Christian, to get to have that camaraderie and relationship and trust to say, hey, we are on the same mission. I know that we have the same values around truth and transparency and gospel-centered community. And here's what you need to look out for when it comes to the unity of your staff team, what you might be experiencing when you walk through, just dark days, was such a beautiful picture to me, that it wasn't just lead pastors. It was whole staff teams getting to care for one another from other churches and offer that support. It was a really, I think that is such a cool thing that the network really has, is that it's not just one person on your staff receiving support. It's that we're starting to have more of the network, even among our staffs in at all different levels, to be able to learn from one another and to also be able to provide that camaraderie. But the other thing I would say is I really, I would say even part of my own story with the network is I was at Redeemer Lubbock as a college kid when the network was starting. I think I came to Lubbock the fall right after Jordan and Josh moved. And so, I knew about this church planning thing. I'd heard about it. I got to see some of those first church plants. I was there when Peyton was one of the first church planting residents. But I was just a college student, was a member, had no design on, I was going to leave Lubbock and never be a part of that again. Love it so much. It's important. But now to look up and to see like all these connections, like as our network has grown, that, I was a kids gospel community leader my whole time I was in college. And now one of those kids is at college at ACU and is attending the well there. And like, that is just such a privilege, like getting to recognize that it's like, hey, I was a part of ministering to you at this one season in this locality. And now because of the network, like my friends now are getting to minister to you in this different season. And similarly, we had some friends from Redeemer Lubbock just moved to Abilene, and just being so sad that they're not here in my everyday life anymore. But the joy of getting to be like, I know that there's this Christ-centered church. Let me connect you.
Yep.
I think is just like so cool to see. Like that takes longevity to be able to see that happen and to have those kinds of connections. But man, I think also what fires me up is just seeing the work that God is doing in so many of our leaders that then reflects what God's doing in his church. Like I said, I get to interact more, like maybe less with lead pastors, but with staff members from other churches. And I think the temptation could be to just like, let's just talk comm strategy. But I truly, part of what I love about what we're doing is that, yeah, we want to multiply healthy churches. And that starts with being healthy. Like we care about people's souls and we want them to encounter Jesus. And it's not just be a job, but be a place that they know Christ and make him known. And I think that like even in some of those challenging situations this year, it's just been really cool to get to go to those deeper places, even with other staff members from different churches, and to get to be reminded that like, there's so much brokenness in my church. There's like all the things in the day-to-day life that I see that I'm like, I'm frustrated by that, or that's hard, or that difficult conversation. And when you zoom out and you get to like see, well, that's in every church, that's in every place. It's just like a reminder to me, and getting to encourage younger churches that I'm like, yes, like there is hope. God is able. And it reminds me of the gospel every single time, and not just like why we're in this, but reminds me that like, no, Jesus, you are going to, you love your local church. Like you love the church, and that's why we love it. Not because it's our job, but because it's your bride. I could talk forever about all of our churches that I get to interact with. Because I just think that it's so cool to see their commitment to growth in the places that they are. And again, their love for the locality. That really sticks out to me that, they matter to God, they matter to those people. And that we get to then see, we have insight into places that I am bound in time and place to Lubbock, Texas, but because the network, getting to hear about what God's doing in Brenham, what he's doing in Arizona, what he's going to hopefully be doing in Oklahoma, in Austin, it's like, I get to participate in seeing God, Jesus, you really are the king of your church. And I get to see that. It's such a joy.
Yeah. I'll piggyback on what you shared earlier, Sarah. I'm fired up about some of the same things. We've got some high school graduate that really, I guess, when their family was a part of our core team or early on, definitely like year one, Redeemer Round Rock, and she was probably 3 or 4 at the time, and now she's about to graduate and she's going to tech, and she's excited to get to Lubbock and connect with Redeemer Lubbock, and I'm so fired up about that. I can't wait. And we have talked to somebody else in our church that's moving more towards South Austin. And I was like, hey, not only is there one, but there's 2, 3, 4 Redeemer Network churches that are all around Austin. And so you need to go check those out. And they were so excited about that. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that. And we have a church member here that has just been one of the most servant-hearted. She's a single lady in our church. She's been amazing. And she's just, Lord has called her to move to San Antonio. And I was able to connect her with some of our Redeemer Network churches there. And she was so thrilled to know that there would be something very similar to what's been so meaningful to her that she's going to get to step into there. And so, yeah, that is the fruit of longevity, like you said, Sarah. And it is a really exciting thing for us as we lead this network, but I think it's a really life-giving thing. It's a blessing to the people of our churches as well. So
I'm in a similar boat to the first person you're talking about. Not that my kids are going to college yet, but I've got going to be a junior this year and a sophomore. And part of our conversations has been, okay, when we start talking colleges, let's prioritize colleges where we know we've got a Redeemer church in that town.
And a golf team.
For one of them. Not my oldest. She doesn't play golf.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, well, let's start to wrap up a little bit here. Anything else as we look ahead, as we think about what's next? Is there anything else that you guys would want to share?
Sarah, do you have anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, I know I tipped my hand on this earlier, but um, right now we have 13 church planting residents between year 1 and year 2. We've got 4 year 2, 9 year 1, and we've got active conversations at a time in the year when we normally have 1 or 2 conversations maybe going on. Typically, the recruiting really kicks up high after the conference.
Yeah.
We're months away from the conference, and we have significant conversation, 7 conversations actively happening right now.
That's awesome.
We had a call with a guy yesterday who I couldn't be more excited about and hopeful for. Meeting with another guy on Monday to talk through in person what it'll look like to come to one of our churches, jump in, and be a resident right here. And it's not unrealistic to think a year from now we could look up and have 20 residents.
Wow.
It's not unrealistic. It may not happen, but
Yeah.
it's not foolish to think that. And I'm grateful for that, man.
Mm-hmm.
We need to keep doing more of what we're doing on all fronts so we can keep doing that and serve more and plant more churches. I'm also really excited about, this will be year 2 of our church renewal residency that is kicking off in a month or so. And one of the things I'm excited about this year is that one of our churches where our guy's been there for 8, 9 years is jumping into the residency. He's faithfully loved and served the church well and is looking up going, I could use some more coaching. I could use some a chance to be equipped a little bit more. And so he's jumping in. And why that matters is because we're not just trying to start churches. We want to see churches established. We want to see the gospel take root. We want to see our churches have longevity and faithfulness right where they are. And so we have this residency for when you're planting churches. But also if any of our churches get 7 or 8 years down the road and they go, okay, I need some more equipping, more coaching. What Marco De Leon has built out in our renewal residency is a wonderful resource to our churches. And we love that it's not just an offering to Redeemer Network, it's an offering to the church at large. And so if there's a pastor out there who's going, hey, my church could use some help in growing in particular areas, we would love to offer that to them.
And the truth is every one of our churches will need it. I mean, that's every life cycle of any church is you start off in mission mode, and within 7, sometimes 10, sometimes 15, sometimes 20 years, you look up and you're in maintenance mode, and you've kind of lost sight of the mission, and you're managing and you're maintaining, and that the next step after that is plateauing and then declining. And that's, I mean, people who study the life cycle of churches, it's clear as day. All churches go through the same cycle. So if we want our churches to sustain, continue to bear fruit, to stay healthy, like we're going to need that renewal residency. Everybody's going to need it because it's so normal and easy to get out of mission mode and get into maintenance mode. So I love that. And I love that we have people already identifying that or saying, hey, I could use some extra training. I could use some extra equipping. We need to get back into mission mode. And so let me go through this renewal training. Good. Well, this has been fun. It's been a fun season. We'll end it here. We'll have a season 4 coming up soon. We're going to talk some more about our culture and some of our leadership pillars in that next season, and really excited about that. But Sarah, thanks for all you're doing. Thanks for jumping on and joining today. And Brandon, as always, appreciate you, man.